So you may remember that just right here in this location, last time we talked about going to get tacos. The scenery has changed a little bit. That used to be a big ass tree. We had the biggest storm of our winter season just the other day, and it uprooted this entire, you can't see it from here, but I have a tree that's missing here too, a smaller one, but 2 trees in 50 feet. I think some cars got damaged, but nobody was hurt. So one of the things that also happened this weekend is I went to this event put on by this group locally called Squeeze Art Collective. They put on these monthly talks to talk with other artists, creative groups here in town. This particular conversation was with a group called FA4 Collective, which is a group of artists who, once they graduated from Cal State Long Beach, which is that's probably one of the more prominent art-related schools locally. Once they graduated, they decided to help kind of keep each other accountable to their art, and so they got together and they do things like they did this mural locally, but they do community outreach. They did a residency in Palm Desert. It was cool to hear that there are groups locally that are doing things to help keep artists connected and build this network of creative people within the city. But I have a small problem with it. What these groups talk about often is very academic results. They're looking for grants, for supporters, for patrons, for residencies. That's all great. That's all good stuff, you know, especially if you get the money. But never in any one of their conversations have I ever heard any of them talk about how to make money from their art, how to make a living from their art. They don't talk about this subject, and I think it's a stigma of the academic art community. I think we need to have that conversation. But before we get into the whole art as a business conversation, I'm going to find a coffee shop that I've never been to, and I don't remember where it is. I'm just kind of walking around the city till I find it. Yeah. One thing I'm a sucker for is old doors. Saw this one, I was like, I just gotta stop. Hola. Good. How are you? Well, I am now vlogging. I'm vlogging while we talk. They can't see you. Literally holding the camera right now as I talk to you. You're technically on the vlog, even though you don't know it, and nobody will see you. No, they won't hear you at all. There's absolutely nothing suspicious about me walking down an alleyway with a camera. As I was saying, it's a little bit interesting to me that these groups don't put a focus on making sales or selling your art. They put a focus on finding money, but not on the self-reliance that I believe artists need to make a go from this point forward. Because in 2017, if you believe that patrons and grants and supporters of that nature are gonna be your savior when it comes to your art, you've got another thing coming. That market is changing, and not for the better. Number 2, the economy is always gonna be in a state of flux. And in good times, you may get your money, but in bad times, that money goes away. And so I was thinking to myself that maybe now would be a good time to film a video that I've been thinking about for a while. Basically, how to sell art, with some caveats. Some of you know I wrote the book on this, or a book on this, and I want to be clear about a couple things. This idea is not about how to be a successful artist, because there are some hucksters out there that will try and sell you that idea. This is not that, for a number of reasons. Number 1, I am not a quote-unquote successful artist. I have a lot of things to achieve still in my career before I consider myself quote-unquote successful. Number 2, there is no one way for anybody to do that. Really what I want to get at is the idea that you have the power to get your work sold, and you don't have to rely on other people or other groups or other entities to make that happen. You have all the power. This is not going to be that video yet, but this is step one in what I'm thinking is going to be a small series of videos surrounding this idea of how to sell art. What is the process? What's it gonna take? And am I up for the job? Let's be real for 1 second. Not everybody is going to be cut out. And that actually caused me to think about one thing. The way I do this is the way I prefer to do it. You may not feel the same exact way, and so when I talk about these things, I'm going to be talking about them in the sense that there is more than one way to skin that cat. And unlike me, who is the gregarious guy who likes to put himself up on video and post up on Instagram several times a day, might not be your jam. You may not be that interested in that idea. So how do you get into this world of selling yourself? How does the guy who got his MFA, who understands everything about the academic approach to selling art or to producing art, how does he get out here into this brand new world and do something about that? How does the person that has never gotten any kind of formal training, probably needs more work on their art, how do they get better to a point where they start selling their work? And how does the person that is a successful artist but sees that the winds of change are changing things for them, and the way that they did things, the way that they showed up is not working anymore, and so they need a new approach. So as I said before, there is no one way to do this. There will be many different ways talked about in this small little series. Some of it may apply to you and some of it may not. I don't promise anything. I merely promise to give you the information that I believe is going to help people. What you do with it is up to you. I encourage you to stick around, subscribe to this channel, because I will be producing these over a period of time. Hopefully, we will all grow as a community together. But instead of just a community that helps each other be accountable to their art, we're gonna be a community that makes money. Because really, that whole starving artist bullshit is overrated. Let's go get paid.